Good day. I am Mos, the guy from Mozambique. Today my vlog is completely shock for you. You never hear me talk about this, and it's related to my previous video, but it's a response of a couple of people, and it's a bit trick. I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. Your reaction, what will be? We get used to entertainment, talk about IMR or talk about Liz's life and others. Moses and other entertainers. But today, let's not talk about entertainers. Let's talk a bit of reality that we Africans like to be a bit emotional for no reason. And many times we get confused and trapped in our own minds because we choose to do those decisions. And those decisions is when many of us not be able to ask, why I'm here in this place? Why you emigrate? Why you left your country? Why you're not in your country? What is wrong in your country that make you leave the country? Why? Or if you are in the Caribbean, why you left Jamaica? And why you left Cuba, Dominique? Or why you are in the diaspora? Let me tell you something. Many, I'm just telling you, 99 of the people, when this subject is being raised, they have two emotional feelings, but they forget about themselves. What is the essence of life? First of all, if you don't love yourself, how are you gonna love the next? How are you gonna talk about the next? This is about two Rwandese people that left some beautiful comments on previous vlog that I want to bring this. I born in Mozambique in the 60s, and many of you time to time get surprised about me. I have traveled the world in a very standard, and then I've been working for different institutions and places around the world. And my life experience has shown me how we Africans have a problem of defining the basics, principles of living in a community. This is where most of the problem starts. We like always supremacy. We like materials, but we don't like values. This is one of the problems I can tell you. I am in different groups of WhatsApp and very different social media platforms. And one most recent group I'm involved is a young Mozambican people. They left the country. They're going to Brazil, Russia, here in Europe. And it's quite funny how these young people interact between themselves, and every time they have this reminder on their heads about back home in Mozambique. The same like Rwandans. I've been in the middle of the community of Rwandan people, and then they have this reminder in their heads about what happened in their country, how the country is developed, but the strange thing, why they can't go back, and what happening, what is going on, what is involved. This is with Congolese, Angolans. I had so many Angolans from around the world. Even you get surprised when I say about Angolans and Congolese, the same. And so forth, different. Ghana is huge. There is a huge community of Ghana around the world. There is no country out there that does not have somebody from Ghana. Yeah, don't think if you go to Lesotho, you're not going to find somebody from Ghana. Don't think also, I can say number one is Nigerians. Nigerians are all over across the spectrum, the globe. You think if you go to Japan, you're not going to find a Nigerian. Sorry, I'm very sorry. You will find. So let's talk here about this, and then let's start this here from South Africa. Many of us, when we grow up, we say we've been seeing, watching here in our homes, radio, television, whatever was out there, about apartheid. That apartheid was very bad thing. Yeah, apartheid was a very bad thing, and apartheid was the most horrible thing on the face of the earth, and apartheid is to be eliminated at whatever cost. And the end of the apartheid came. So what the end of apartheid brought to South Africa? Everybody, the first thing is brought freedom, change. No, there is no freedom, there is no change. Such thing does not exist anywhere in the face of earth. The only difference is a change of guards. The police guards that used to be whites become black people, Indians, or whatever. But in this situation, with the different ranks and different nomenclature, it's like a chemical composition. And then it comes a very bad composition. And many of you say, these guys is freaking F racist. Hey, I'm not freaking F racist. I live these things through my skin, through my reality. And then I saw it. I felt the pain. So this is why these two individuals from Rwanda that saw my last video can't understand what is behind the comment. The behind my comment is a very same thing, is my life experience. I've been there. I have paid. I have crossing to Congo. I went to see what was happening. And then I'm back here alive, and then I made the comment I made because it's my experience. You may have your own experience, but you need to learn something that I have learned through life. And even Ayamar was learning. Is based the contact you have with the reality. If you don't have a contact with the society, what's happening in that society, what's gone wrong in that society, sometimes you can't make comments. All your comments are going to be just empty excuses. And then I'm not empty excuses here when I'm talking about this topic, really off the line of my viewers, my subscribers, or if you are new here, this is most. This is not the line of thoughts of these vlogs. That's what I created this YouTube channel. No. This YouTube channel is for entertain, the purpose of entertain, but also gets a point where I realize I needed to tell people, educate people to understand. If you don't understand those basic things why there is a conflict and why things happening. You saw recently what happened to Miniawi. She was trying to go to Jamaica, and all these troubles she had with an airline just to get to Netherlands and just change an aeroplane and go to Jamaica. This comes on these things I'm trying to explain it to you here. The change of gods, mentality, imposters, and all this. So, I was telling you about South Africa. What we have today in South Africa is just change. It used to be a blue shirt, now we have a white shirt. That's what happened in politics in South Africa. And those politics of South Africa, they became themselves trapped on their own minds, on their own troubles, because They are not able to accept what freedom means. Why? The leaders. I have seen one journalist of South Africa that makes a good work, Mr. Welsh, and he is trying time to time to bring clues of politics in South Africa. That time to time I say, oh, quite interesting. His interest is history, is gathering information. But I want to tell you about this. Politics in South Africa are the most dirty politics ever in all African continent. Many people thought the ANC is this great party of unity. The ANC never been this great party of unity. Unity was there just to get their ends on the mullah. That was the unity. That's what everybody went in around Nelson Mandela to reach where they reach. But in reality, that institution ANC, if you go back to the history books and read what the ANC came by foreigners, African black foreigners from Mozambique, from Gaza Nkulu, people from Zimbabwe, people from Namibia, people from Botswana. Those are the pioneers of ANC, but the South African people refuse, say no, the ANC was formed by we. Who are you, first of all, as a South African? You're a descendant of Changans. You're a descendant of who? Bantus. People came from Zim. Who the Zulus? This is the problem with the politics in South Africa. People do not understand to distinguish themselves. This is the conflict we have. We can't. Because ignorance is rooted so deep. When you go to the Zulus, and then you ask yourself, what's happening here? Is a ceremony. And then you start to pay attention to the ceremony, how the trend of the ceremony is. You start to understand the trend, how they do politics. These are people, they can kill themselves, they can kill the neighbor because the neighbor is more great than him. This is in South Africa. Sometimes you say, oh, this guy is mad, what's gonna, it's not, I've been there, I saw it. When they sacrifice a cow, when they sacrifice a sheep, these minor things tell you who are these people and what these people are all about. Politics is very ugly. But when politics mix with race and people use race as an excuse, is where everything goes down. That's what Africans never emerge because of race. They feel they're inferiors. They can't accept the presence of a difference in the equation. And this is what the politics is meant in Rwanda. When in Rwandese people, they're just in this perception, Hutus, Tutsis, whatever, and then they can't stop and focus. Say, it's not about Hutus and Tutsis, and no, it's not about the skin. They're about some differences of leaders. When these leaders sit there and try to idolize what is not a fact, what is not truth, there will not be a society in any place in the world, even in the United States, where you can say, people from Texas are this, people from that. No, we need each other to complement. We need each other to make things work. Many people say, wow, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya are so progressive, their life, the way they are, because of their politicians. they understood the demographics of the country, if they are not united on the same cohesion idea, will never flourish. And this is the point always we see here. Sorry to bring this, but this is the point of Ayamaro. When you watch Ayamaro, you don't understand Ayamaro in reality is a politician, but a social activist. The day Ayamaro will step in politics, the chaos in the village is going to be a hell. You know why? Because all those they got used to eat small here, small there, they will not be able to eat because the speed of development, they change. The water, sanity, electricity, tourism will be too fast because these people are too slow to capture the initiative. And this is the problem with happening in South Africa. They chose the wrong path. They chose the mentality that failed on the Soviet Union. The 70 years of Soviet Union, while the Chinese, they readapt themselves and discover money make a difference and money brings prosperity. And this is what is in Rwanda. Paulo Kagame find out money is prosperity. Why have these deals? Why the Rwanda troops are in Mozambique? What did Rwandans have to do with Mozambique? Where in Mozambique they are? They are where the gas is, where France's interest is, where money talks about. Why the conflict is going on? Why there's mistrust between Congo and Rwanda? Is money. Why weapons have been sold in exchange in that particular point in Rwanda? How Rwanda became so strong? Because of leader, of understanding. You need to be strong and perceive an agenda that is inclusive. And that agenda is what makes Rwanda different. Try to bring much as people in. That's why Paulo Kagame went and killed people in hotels in South Africa, or killed oppositions in Mozambique in the hotel, Cardozo, Michelangelo, and other places. That's why hijack aeroplanes, because of power control. And that is what people, they don't understand. Leaders are very important. And leaders are making a difference. That's why the leaders in South Africa are weak. Because the ANC never been stronger. ANC being a center of power of a multifaceted people of a society in South Africa. And that multifaceted people, they are going their own way. So the ANC is no longer the key. Because everybody have sit in the table and thought we're going to share these principles and values. But when it came the time to cut the cake, those principles and values, they are no longer there. That's why you see the Communist Party, you see all these other parties coming to in the government of South Africa, and people with the poor initiative and poor mentality, people not educated. They with the friction. This Welsh doctor brought something very interesting in a video, most recent. And that video is quite interesting, applies to all spectrum across Africa. Always is the conflict between two people inside the same party. You can see in Mozambique, you can see, we saw in Zimbabwe with Mugabe and this guy now in power. We saw in Tanzania, we saw all across, even what is going on recently in Kenya politics. Odingas and all these stories of what is going on. We can see in Eritrea, we can see in Ethiopia. This is a process that makes things change. Like the conflict in Sudan. When you sit and look at the conflict in Sudan, it's just two individuals It's not the people, it's two individuals fighting. Ego. So it's quite important here to tell you these things to understand when you're watching videos and entertain yourself, that somehow, somewhere, politics is the term, the rule, the term that makes possible life be different. That's why life in Zimbabwe these days is hell, not because Zimbabwe cannot do it better. It's just one individual. Not accept challenges, be challenged. If African leaders accept to be challenged between themselves democratically, say, okay, my strategies not work, let me step out, like George Weah done in Liberia. People elect some other president, what he done, he gone. So that will create an environment of respect, of self-respect. When we start self-respect people, we start to understand this done good, this done bad. Many of you sometimes think South Africa is a very powerful. South Africa is no longer powerful. A mosquito can go defeat them. They destroy themselves. South African today is empty tin. Is a tin empty with no core, no essence, no fundament. Time to time you ask yourself, what the hell is here? Did you know how many PhDs, engineers, scientists left South Africa? Every single day. Sasol used to be one of the best of the cream engineering sciences company in South Africa. Today is just a can floating. South Africa had better farmers. South Africa could produce many things, but the South Africans, brothers and sisters, they were gonna go kill the farmer. Kill the farmer, kill the farmer, kill the farmer. You are killing the farmer. That is the farmer who makes sure the bread and the butter is on the shop. The milk is on the shop. But you wake up in the morning, kill the farmer, kill the farmer. Zimbabwe used to be one of the blessed places. Is we not be capable to look Ayamara and learn from Ayamara? Look the builders that went to work for Ayamara. It's the same principle here. It's the same problem here. Not going provide a work, quality, so that work somebody can refer to, can say, hey, I want to work with that builder. If you come and say, what my preference, I say, I will hire Mayugun to work for me because Mayugun have self-initiative and as a person understand what he's doing. I'll hire some of those people working for Mayugun. I will not hire the engineer of Ayamaro. Never, ever. He's an incompetent individual. As proven time to time. That's why Ayamara is distancing himself from him. Here was the person should have the power, enough power to tell Ayamara, this thing cannot be done. Me, I'm distancing myself. You do it. Even the water at Ayamara still have a problem. He have a pump, but still have a problem to have water inside his house, quality water, and water is abundant there. That show what the kind of leadership are the engineer. That mentality of that engineer show you the mentality of other leaders in the society. So when we talk about in the broader African leadership and politics, you have to understand something. Race and tribalism and region about this and about that is what make us weak. When you come here and say, I'm Igbo, I am that, I'm Kuria, I'm that, that is the weakness. That is the division. Forget about to be Igbo, to be that, to be that. Think about what Ayamaro the other day was saying when with Rocio they are driving to go buy some pigeon. And Ayamaro was saying, one of the biggest problems in Africa is we have water, is how to make this water to get inside the house to improve people's life. That is, I saw in South Africa, the ANC how they failed to their own people, even to supply electricity, even to supply water. Not because there is no engineers, there is no techniques, no. Because they're scary. Things are done right and the people have a better life, better quality. That's why the ANC prefer give handouts and make people happy for the day. And build those houses they call the RDP houses just to avoid to be overthrown. You if you're a government, you can't be afraid of competing. Provide them much better for your own people. Look the standards of education in South Africa compared to Zim, compared to Namibia, compared to Mozambique, compared to Tanzania. The standards of education in South Africa are the lowest ones compared to any other country in Africa today. You will find people in South Africa today to read is a struggle, to understand mathematics is a struggle, physics. But that same person want to supply a bottle of water to a South African an airline that's going to go around the world, take people. But they don't want to make control quality on that bottle of water. They don't want to see the aesthetics. And then the same people come here and say, oh, just you mentioned the name Russia, China. Oh, these people are hell. These people are that. And these people are living good, better than us. They improve their lives. And a million. And then you are the one always take your little money, run to their place, their country, and go, they say, wow, what a beauty. Why you don't do that beauty in your own country? In your own community? Because you're weak. When you come here and say, go do research about this, I don't need to research about anything. Me, I got and got see. Even here in Britain, recently, our Prime Minister here came against us, the citizens. How dare you come say, we are the extremists, we became extremists. Who is the extremist here? It's him, not us. He was not elected by us. He was elected by a bunch of bananas. They think they have the power, but they are misusing the power, and the problem of the power becomes social. When you are Prime Minister, you come here and make us say the police will do that. This is not a North Korea. This is not Cuba. This is a democracy. It's a kingdom with a democracy. I do understand where it comes because they are rich family, they're very influential people that can even cancel you. You can be cancelled. Never existed again. Never again you come here on YouTube and talk about. You die slowly and painful. We see this. One of my other subscribers came here and say, don't talk about politics. They will cancel you. It's true. They will cancel. But as they cancel me, they cancel somebody else, they cancel somebody else. We are dying slowly but surely. So is needed to understand when we do these vlogs, when we interact with you, when you go to make the comment, don't be emotional, be rational. If you are rational, you will understand. If you query why you done this statement and the person tell you the reason why you done the statement, you're gonna be much better off in a better position to talk about that subject. And that what most of us is, I saw when I went to the Caribbeans, I saw when I went to the South American, not the Latin American. There is two components here, South America and Latin America. I'm talking about South America, from Colombia down. How the black community in those countries think and behave. Not far from many other people from Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial, Gambia. So much there that you stop, you say, God, these people never change it. This is just generation. Even in Cuba. When you go to Santiago de Cuba and Guantanamo, Ciego de Avila, all those areas there, you see the black communities there, in Santo Domingos, in Haiti, even in Haiti. You say these people are just misdisplaced from Africa. That is the truth of the matter. It's harder to talk, but it's easier to criticize. It's easier to point a finger. That is the truth. Yes, it is sad to say everything I have said, because when you live in a country that had an industry, have everything to win, and all of a sudden you have a government and institutions that when you want to do something as a citizen, they tell you you can't do this. You wanna sell bread. No, you can't do it because you don't deserve it. Or because there is this, because that. There is a blockade. Like always here refer to South Africa. The economy in South Africa is based on the points, based on the race. If you are white, if you are Indian, or if you are another color, not black, you have to be qualified in a matrix box of points. So, if you are doing economics, you're going to Russia, and then you want to open a business, and you use this matrix box of points, will ever Russia get where it is? No. This is what happening in Mozambique. The citizens of Mozambique, they can't even do something because the criteria are not set it up. The people who was in power was to manage a small region. They don't know the basics, the principle, how to allow those things to happen, how to set up. They're all based on a friendship, or because he's a family of a friend. And the real investors, they don't waste money with that. That is one of the basics. The freedom. And that freedom, there is rules, there is set of rules, legislation. And that Africans, they don't like legislation. They hate rules. We saw now with Ayamara, just for electricity. There's rules, legislation set, but what? Became tribal, became personal. That's what Africans, they like to come and live in these countries where everything, there is laws, everybody is equal on the law. But when they go their own places, they don't. That's why we see hate. We see people point finger and call, no, this is a slave, is enslave you. What about you are working here in this, you call yourself the first world country, you're not being slave. even been shouting sometimes, even sometimes been treated badly, and you come here, you dare come here and say, no, I am Arab done that wrong I done. So why are you not in your own country? Because in your own country is a nightmare. Your own brother does not understand how even to do a map or design a plant. We don't like these things. We don't like documentation. We don't like that. What Ayamara was saying the other day to this Irish girl. You need to be careful. You need to have these papers. You need to have to this. And even Pablo K.E. was explaining how things are happening when you buy land. And she comes and she say, Ayamara is primitive. I was surprised. I was shocked. Well, I think I have said things here some people will not enjoy, will not like it, but it's the truth of the matter. We need to understand the reason. We need to be reasonable. We need to push ourselves to make things better for ourselves by create rules and regulations. It's not just make speeches and not deliver. This is where the conflict comes. If you want to understand the conflict, is where there is no law, there is nothing. That is where about conflict is constant. Because an individual, one particular individual, is the reason of that conflict. Not people, no. It's an individual leader promoting that conflict. The conflict in Mozambique, the conflict in Congo, the conflict in Nigeria, the conflict whatever is, are individuals. They're trying to format people's minds. And the consequence of conflict is huge and horrible. So let's come together and start and create these principles, the basics on our own family, to get rewards for ourselves as Africans. Create institutions and make people accountable, not make people differential. Because you work in the United States, you have the dollars. Now you coming home, you think money will solve everything. There is where the problem starts. You are the first corrupt person because you don't want to respect the steps, the process. The other problem with the steps and process, what we are Africans, is the ego, or make those processes difficult for another brother and sister, not progress. We see a lot of that. And that is the reason many people emigrated and left their own countries, because the processes for you as citizen is more hard and difficult. But for a foreigner, it becomes easier because it spots your weakness. Anyway, I know what I have said will resound in your mind, but I am Moss. I do respect people's comment, but also deserve the right to respond when there is a reason or a fact. Your opinion, your comments are welcome. If there is respect, mutual respect. If there is not, I'm very sorry. I will delete it. I will not even consider to reply. So the point here is we need to understand people. When they say something, we need to question. If you question, you will understand, because you will understand the reason of what the person said. and then you avoid conflict. And that should be done always. That is the success of Ayamarwa, Burundian traveler, and others out there. Thank you. I hope you enjoy. Please leave comments. Bye.